Last time on Long Distance Dungeons and Dragons Inner Theater, Jacques and Alec attempted to jailbreak an Arabane.
Don't fart. Okay.
Roll me a percentage chance to see if you fart.
No, damn it.
It's Will's birthday, he said it, I'm sorry.
But Alec ended up getting arrested and jailed along with Kid Arbray, while the prisoners Jacques helped escape were mostly slaughtered, and Jacques was brutally injured with a shotgun wound from the local guard captain. Ortiga woke up confused in the mountain valleys of West Linya with a horrible headache and the mark of judgment. She cut off her own arm before trekking over the mountains back to her employer in the town of Nevercrooks.
I'd like to go to Human Resources.
Alright, you head to HR.
Company's new arm. Exactly. Workplace grievance.
And she requested a replacement arm. We continued to trail our adventurers in Southport and witness their criminal acts before heading to Westport to enter the caverns from another direction and continue her spying.
You see the group that you were following looting the Antumbra house. You see several dead drow on the cavern floor. And then at this last moment, you see Dangi Antumbra, leader of this drow house, flash into existence and release a spirit to chase after them.
And now, Long Distance Dungeons and Dragons Dinner Theater continues.
Don't cross the streams!
Well, that's all they want in the end.
That's true.
You will?
You gotta break all the rules. You gotta know the rules before you break the rules, though.
Maybe I can.
That's true. Crossing the streams wouldn't have worked
Like-
unless they knew not to do it. That is a good point.
I couldn't try to cast command on that on it.
Alright, so what, Liz? What do you do? I had time to get a beer.
So, I think I'm gonna make an elemental.
Okay.
An air one would
Uh-huh.
be the one that could, like, I don't know, like, be the same as.
I mean, incorporeal and made of air aren't exactly the same thing.
Yeah, really.
I sort of just want to make something that can distract it, because I like really think that we need to run away. I don't think that we can do it. Like, I don't even know like what to do.
I mean, it seems to be summoned by Dangi Antumbra to fight you guys, so I don't think you're gonna be able to distract it with like a pony or something.
Not a pony and an
I'm just saying,
elemental.
even the elemental, I feel like the elemental is gonna be not any more likely to be able to interact with it than you are. Just because it's what's made of air, it's not still gonna be able to hit it. And it's sent to be after you guys, not after some air elemental. What it needs, it cannot get from the air elemental. I'll say that.
Like what? Like what do you even do? Is she alive?
Who?
Danky.
Dangi is alive, but she's not here. She vanished in and out of existence just to release this spirit. She disappeared when you guys were fighting her when she was almost dead, and then reappeared to summon this spirit, and then vanished again.
I mean, we don't have like a Ghostbusters trap or anything. Like, what do you?
I like that everyone's going to Ghostbusters.
That's our only reference for how to defeat
Like
ghouls.
Slimer. There's some donuts, Adam.
I'm gonna flip this thing. If you don't have anything by the end of this, I'm gonna let the ghost go.
Okay, so she was called by Dangy. So is it magic?
Yes.
Okay, I have a dispel magic spell. Can I do that?
Alright, so you want to have tried to dispel magic while Dangi was summoning the spirit.
Yeah, I guess I would like recognize that she was wiggling her nose or
Yeah.
whatever.
Alright, so
I can do one spellcaster, creature, or object. So I guess I'm gonna do it at her.
alright, so you do it to her when she's wiggling her fingers trying to cast this spell. You dispel the spirit.
Yay. Okay, and then what?
Spirit's gone. You guys are still alone in this cavern. The dragon's gone now, and Morgan and Oss are gone. There's been a hole dug in the cavern behind you where this dragon's escaped to, but you two guys are now alone in this cavern. You can roll another perception check if you want.
How did she
Perception check.
What's that?
How'd she have a chance to disappear?
She vanished into thin air.
I got a 15 on perception.
Do you have one there, Juwan?
Perception, yeah. Yeah, I got perception. Oh my god, 20.
Alright, Juwan, you hear something in the back corner of the room.
Okay, what is it? I got a 20. What is it?
It's something living is hiding in this room. You can alert Cersei, you can go look closer, but you know there's something in this room that's still alive.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna hold hold out my long spear in front of me and start walking towards it and be like, "Yo, Cersei, there's something living over here." In this corner.
All right, you approach the corner where Pleek is hiding with your long spear drawn.
Yeah, I don't know who this is. So
You don't know what it is. You haven't seen anything yet, but you know something's over here.
I'm gonna cast light.
All right, you cast light. Roll a perception check with a light added, if you guys want.
That was a natural 18 plus 3, so 21 on top of light.
All right, you see Pleek hiding in the corner once you cast light.
Oh.
I don't know who that is. You're gonna have to tell me something.
Yeah, Juan is closer to Pleek than Cersei is. Cersei casted light from the other side of the room, so Juan is closer. Cersei recognizes Pleek. Juan does not, but she has her spear drawn on this small gnome. There's a small gnome lady riding the back of a spider.
I'm gonna tell her this is Pleek. We met him when we got on this island. Her, sorry, my apologies.
Happens a lot in this game.
Her spider, Harriet. And we had to deal with him we had to deal with him to help us steal a holy relic from Southport, and then he freaking crawfish and backstabbed us, and then implicated us in the crime that we did commit, but then he still stole it, and then returned it.
He implicated us in a crime that we did commit.
That's what I was giving him that.
That was good.
I just didn't get any of the spoils from it.
No, you did not get any of the spoils.
So what the fuck, Pleek? P.S.
So yeah, they see you in the corner, you get a what the fuck Pleek from Cersei.
I'm still holding up a spear.
Yeah, and some
like
kitsune you've never seen is holding a spear at your face.
I'm gonna black dot out with Harriet and then make my way towards where the dragon went through the wall.
Alright, Pleek vanishes.
What?
Sorry, he used his black dot power to go into the shadow plane.
Yeah, I'm in a shadow plane.
Pleek is now in the shadow plane, in the shadow version of these caverns, which are still pretty similar because you're underground and it's dark.
Yeah, and
So you head towards the hole?
Towards the hole. I'm gonna try and move through the hole.
Alright, he heads toward the hole. Pleek is in the shadow plane, going down the tunnel after those that fled. You two are still left alone in the Drow Cavern.
What the hell was that? Why is this person following you? Should we try to find her and kill her, or are we gonna ignore this?
Gladly, yeah. But we're gonna have a hard time finding her on it. She's a wily one.
Follow the dragon.
Listen, I'm gonna call, use my stone and call Jorge back to help lead us out. I guess we just have to follow his dragon tunnel, basically, right?
Yeah, just follow his tunnel. You probably can't call him right now. I mean, you could call him. It's gonna take him a while to get back, and he's dragging your friends with him right now. So you probably just want to follow the tunnel to his lair.
Yeah, we need to.
Probably where he went.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll go that way.
Alright, you head down into the tunnel into the Drow Caverns toward the Dragon Lair. And now I'll go back to Alec Holland in prison, 2 cells away from Kit Arbray.
I played a harmonica I made earlier.
Alright, you made a harmonica, and Kit says, use one of your spells per day to make a harmonica.
It was totally worth it.
Yeah. Kit says, gee, mister, you sure really are good at playing that harmonica.
Harmonica.
Yeah, so yeah, am I still in the Cloak of Human guys? They let me keep that going? Am I still looking like people?
Oh yeah, sure, they left that on you.
Cool. Can I fit through bars? More so?
No, you're still the same size. You look pretty much the same, just with flesh over where your rock would be.
Sort of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Cool. Well, okay, now that I remember this thing, I'm gonna turn one of the bars into a crowbar.
Okay.
That's like a much better idea.
That is a better idea than last time.
Nothing. I turn into a hunk of metal. I'm gonna grab. Last time I grabbed a crowbar so I can get the kid out.
All right. So as you grab one of the crowbars grab one of the jail bars, turn it into a crowbar. One of the guards that's down there with you notices and says, "Hey, cut that out," and tries to snatch it away from you. Roll initiative.
Oh shit. Really looked at that one. Really fun.
No perception check, dog. You gotta do a perception check.
Yeah. You perception check.
Alright, that's like 16 for initiative.
All right, so you get initiative. So yeah, after all the recent jailbreaks lately, it seems like they've beefed up security a little bit. There are 2 guards down here, one that's in the far end of the room, and the one that's trying to snatch this crowbar away from you, who has failed. So you have initiative, but you're both holding on to the crowbar. He hasn't snatched it away from you. You're both holding it, but it is your turn in combat.
Can't hit him with it if he's holding on to it.
You can push it back against.
You can do a strength check to pull it away.
I want to use the bars against his face.
So you want to pull him via the crowbar towards the bars.
Okay, it's like
So roll me a strength check just to jerk him towards the bars.
So it's a 13 plus 4, so 17.
That's enough to jerk him in the bars. He'll take a little damage, which I'll roll. Yep. All right. He took some damage. It's his turn now. That's not going to be high enough to hit you. What's your AC?
17.
Yeah. So that guard misses. The other guard starts heading over to help him out. It's your turn again, though.
Drop it and fucking call it a day. Like, I do. There's 2 guys on a fucking cage. So, like, can't you train another bar? No, I can do 1 per day. I'm level 1. I can do literally nothing right now. I'm gonna give him the bar. It's like, all right.
You let it go. All right. They say this guy's going to need extra security, and they call down a 3rd guard. So now there are 3 guards down there, watching you in your cage missing a bar. 2 cages away from Kid Arbray.
Do I still have control of Kid?
No, you're too far away now.
You gave him to me though.
All right, if you want to do something, go for it. What you got?
Does Kid have anything on him? Did they take his stuff?
They did take all his stuff, yeah. They've taken his owl, but all of his spells are fully charged, so he can't use his spells right now. But he doesn't have his owl, and he doesn't have any of his gear.
How do they take his owl from him?
It's pretty easy to take an owl from someone.
That's stone cold.
All right, Vortiga, you were in the town of Nevercrooks, staying in your bunk at the HBI office. It's a very small room with a desk and a cot that folds out of the wall. So it's a very small office that you can kind of sort of sleep in. It's very cramped, but it's enough space for you. You've been staying there for a couple weeks while waiting for your arm replacement. The person at HR has gone over your options with you. I'll be going back for your appointment today to get fitted for your new arm.
So what are the bonuses with the clockwork arm?
Okay, clockwork arm. You have to wind it once a day. There's no downfall. It's also vulnerable to electricity, so if you get shocked by lightning or something, it'll quit working until you wind it again, so I'd have to watch out for. But it does have a swift reaction time, which gives you improved initiative. It gives you a +1 to your initiative, and also gives you lightning reflexes, which are just feats that you automatically get for having this arm. But yeah, and it also has a +2 to strength with that particular, when you use that one arm. And they set you in for surgery. Your arm is replaced with a clockwork arm that is magically in tune with your brain. It can follow any normal commands like your arm would. But like I said, you have to wind it for once a day for an hour. Watch out for electricity, because if it gets shocked, it won't work until you wind it again. It does make a whirring noise, so it will affect your stealth and stuff. It does. It has gears and things like that, so it does make a subtle noise. It's not very loud, but it makes some noise, so it will affect your stealth sometimes. It ticks like a clock does, so people will hear you ticking, like Captain Hook. They'll hear the tick, tick, tick of Vortiga approaching. I know their clock is ticking.
Alright, so now that I've got that, guess I'll go to my office.
Alright, you go back to your office, which, like I said, is very small. It's got a pull-down cot in the wall, a very small desk, whatever kind of little ephemera you have, like little troll dolls and shit, whatever you have on your desk, I don't know.
Harvey.
Yeah, but it also has an in and out box type of thing. You still have on your board, you have a board of ongoing missions in your office, and you still have the ongoing mission to destroy property in Southport on your to-do board, basically.
Can I try to see if I can find some missions more local?
Yeah, you can go talk to your boss and try to be reassigned to a different mission.
Yes, I'd like to do that.
Alright, so you take this mission off your go board and say, I'm not going back to Southport, fuck that place. And you go down the hall to the end of the hallway to Agent Jegger Dyson.
Jegger Dyson.
Yeah, who's the head agent here at Hellport, at Nevercrooks, at the HBI. Jegger's a tiefling, so he's a half demon, half human, so he looks kind of deformed. He's kind of medium young, he's not very old, but he's got a big nose. He's got long red braided hair, red lips and fierce white eyes. He's known for being sneaky and creepy, conniving and cunning. He always gets what he wants. Not the kind of guy you want to fuck with. He's a meddler. He likes to make things happen. That's what his bragging rights in the HBI are, is He's known to start wars, start battles and conflicts between nations. He's also known for his great recruiting skills, bringing in good aligned creatures and switching them over to evil, and getting them to join the HPI. He's probably the one that recruited you when you were just a young hobgoblin in the mountains before he was promoted to head agent. So, but he's there in his office, smoking what looks like a very thin, long pipe when you walk in.
Sweet teeth pipe, bro.
Alright, well, I will say to Jagger, hey, Jig, I had a little trouble in Southport, and,
Says, yeah, I heard about your arm. He says, how's that new one working out for you?
I make the word, I do like the
Yeah, okay.
mini robot.
Flexing like the Terminator.
Yeah. But, I'm going to, say, yeah, those people down there are really nuts. They're really, really big Bible, or whatever the equivalent to the Bible is in this realm, thumpers.
He says, yeah, we don't send many agents out that way. It can be very dangerous for members of our ilk. He says, I'm surprised you got out of there with only one mark of judgment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if I go back, they'll immediately see me and,
Next time they might put it on your head. You know how much harder that is to remove?
Yes.
Much harder to get a prosthetic head.
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be pretty tough. So, are there any missions that are local in the Lingian continent?
He says, oh, we've got some missions around here. He's like, but really, you're contractually obliged to finish that mission. He's like, the way, this is a very litigious society here. We can't let you out of a job contract.
Well, I'm not trying to get out of it. I just would like to pursue it at a later time when I'm more well equipped.
It's like, okay, we can leave that up on your job board as long as you're still planning on pursuing it. It's got a 6-month term limit on it, so if you don't do it within the next 6 months, we'll have repercussions.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I think I can get it done in the next 6 months.
A spanking.
He says that'd be fun. He says, I'll tell you what we'll do. He says, I'll talk to Dorothy, my secretary, and see if we can find you a local mission to get you kind of back in the swing of things. I know you're recovering. Maybe you just want like a light mission to get you back into the saddle.
Yeah.
All right. He says, okay, I'll ask her about it, and I'll send something down to your office as soon as I have something.
Okay.
All right. You can go rest in your office and wait for a message. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find something for you on this side of the island.
All right.
So you wait in your office. Several hours later, a secretary comes in and gives you a new job contract that has one agent's name crossed out and your name added to it.
Can I see whose agent name it is? Like, does it matter?
Yeah, sure. So you got one of Roge's contracts, his name scratched out, your name added. Contract to start some trouble between two of the houses in a town called Kiswahili. Kiswahili is on East Linya, so it's on the other side of the wall. And in East Linya there are 4 houses, each designated by a different element. It's a very political city. And once you get there, you're going to have to register as one of those parties. The guy that you're dealing with is the leader of the House of Fire, so you're going to register with the House of Fire.
House of Fire.
But you're going to need to infiltrate one of the other houses and cause trouble between them. There are 4 houses, you're going to want 2 of them to fight, one of them not being the firehouse. But there's earth, air, fire, and water. And you're going to want to cause a disruption between 2 of the other houses, but not fire, basically. The leader of the House of Fire, Holmes. Holmes Burns. So just Holmes is fine.
Alright, yeah. What race of people are these?
It's a very different races all live there. It's not particularly one type of race. A lot of them are the races that have mixed with elementals, though.
Yeah.
But that's not all that's necessarily there. I mean, there are some just humans, some Vishkanya, some, anything. Venaran. There's just some of every race here. They more align via party more than race here.
Alright, well, I will head to Kiswahili after. I need to go to the goods store and get, like, some
stuff because I am a zombie, so I need to, or an undead, so I need, and Will's not there, and I don't have a restoration spell.
Well, you would need gentle repose, I think, is what you would really need to keep you from decaying.
Yeah.
Which they can do at the HBI Human Resources for you.
Yeah, I'd love for that.
As long as you're in town, you can have that service done for free. As that's part of your workers', rights, as you're insured for that. You're insured for being undead.
Yeah.
You reach the Hellport Market. It's a pretty large market. They offer a lot of services. They have a pretty good smithy there. Market sells all kinds of stuff, goods from around the world. As soon as you enter the market, a market salesman walks up to you and asks if they can contact you with special deals.
Yes.
How much gold do you have now? And then I can tell you what kind of stuff you can afford here.
I have 1,000 still because it was, I got 2,000 gold contracts and the arm was
1,035.
Gonna add 80 already. So
You have a little over 1,000?
Yeah, I'm like 1,040.
All right. So here you walk down the aisles. There's some stuff in the first place that you can kind of afford. It's more of like a drugstore market. They have some stuff called Fiendgore Ungent and Elixir of Thundering Voice. There's a small caged imp for sale. It's a little out of your price range, but imps are kind of a pain in the ass. So you could probably talk him down just to get he wants to get rid of it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You would have you'd control it. I would make you roll like diplomacy to make it do things, but he would be yours basically. Probably have to keep it on a leash at first.
Kinda cool. Are imps like they're sentient, right? Like
Yeah, they're sentient. They're like tiny little demons.
They're just tiny little assholes. Though.
Yeah, they're just little assholes.
Okay,
Sounds
they're
amazing.
They're mischievous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just as soon as like to go and close the door for you than to dump a pot of coffee in your head.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do some fucked up shit.
They're like cats, like fantasy cats.
Yeah.
They are.
They just knock stuff off the table, make you trip.
Yeah.
With wings.
I'm probably going to. How much for the imp?
The imp is usually 1,200, but you get a 25% discount anyway, and you could probably talk him down if you have a good diplomacy roll because it's an imp. And really, it's better to get rid of an imp and not have it in your store. So
I'll do that. I'll do the diplomacy roll to see if I can get it knocked down any.
all right, roll it for me, and then say something about why it should be cheaper.
Alright. It's not going to be cheaper. I only rolled 6.
Yeah, he says he's already giving you a 25% discount.
Yeah, so what did you say that was? 900?
900.
Alright, I'll take him.
All right, you now have an imp companion.
Do I get to name him?
You can name him, yeah?
Well, since it's an imp, yeah, I'm just going to go with one of the worst people in history. I'm going to name it Neville Chamberlain.
All right,
That's what his
Neville.
name is.
Okay. So Cersei and Juan find themselves in the Drow Cavern. Pleek vanishes.
Can I roll a knowledge planes? Just to
Yep.
See if I can get some info on that.
Yep.
That's going to be a 22.
All right, you are familiar with what happened. You've seen Osk do something very similar. When Pleek disappeared, a black sheet kind of wrapped over his body like a black film. When he vanished, would you recognize the same thing that happens to Osk whenever he either goes shadow form or transforms into the shadow plane?
Okay. Alright, that's good for me to tuck away. I'll keep that little knowledge. Alright, well, I'm going to wiggle my fingers at Juan since she just fell over all of a sudden. She had a case of the vapors.
Yeah. She was just exhausted after that. After dispelling that spirit, it was very exhausting apparently because it was. Yeah, she casted a very strong magic spell to save you guys' life, and so she was just very exhausted afterwards, I'm sure.
Alright, yeah, so I'll cast Love Tape on Juan, and we'll try to follow the dragon. We're going through the cave that he...
Alright, so he burrowed out. When he burrowed out, one hole goes forward deeper into the caverns, and one hole goes up above ground.
I would assume he's probably going to go to his lair, if there is a lair. Alright, I'm going to go... Well, no, he's been to the cavern cavern entrance before as well. That's where we raised him from the dead. Alright, well, I'll take the one that goes up.
Alright, you follow the tunnel that goes up. It leaves above ground to where you first resurrected Jorge. And on the ground there is the Codex of Infinite Planes.
Excellent. And that's really large, and they're going to be a pain in the ass to carry. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Correct. It requires 2 people to carry it, usually.
Took an enlarged hobgoblin, Will, Pat, and a summon.
To be fair, I don't think I did much.
You did nothing.
I supervised.
You did nothing.
Alright, well, I'm going to hang out for an hour and recharge my spells.
Alright, hang out with your Sturge.
Yeah, hang out with my Sturge and Juan and the Codex. And then I'm going to summon me a shelter so I can get some sleep. It's been a while.
Alright, you summon a shelter. You can even summon it around the Codex if you like.
Yes.
Alright, you summon a shelter around the Codex, just above the Drow Cavern, and have a rest.
Yeah, that's my plan for right now.
Alright, you rest for 1d8 hours, or more if you want, 1d12 if you want to sleep 12 hours. It's up to you, however long your hut lasts.
It lasts for 8 hours.
So yeah, 1d8 if you want to rest that long in there. Do you want to continue from there, or you want to see what Morgan gets into in the lair?
What's what Morgan gets into? I had a feeling that they were going to go somewhere else, but I really needed to recharge my spells.
No, I get that. You guys just had a big fight.
Yeah.
Morgan and Osk are clinging onto the back of this black dragon, which is not super huge. It could, barely carry the 2 of you. Carrying more than the 2 of you would be a bit much for it. And it's whipping tail through these caverns really fast, quickly burrowing holes, darting obstacles and other cavernous monsters. And it weaves this way and that, and it's going very fast. You can't keep up with where you're going. Debris flying past your face, rocks and dirt and such. It leaps over all kinds of manners of monsters and such, and it finally arrives in the back of this deep, dark cavern. And what it tells you is, "Oh, we're now approaching my lair. I haven't been to my lair in so long." So he bursts through the wall and arrives in his lair, which is covered in stones and bones.
Stones and bones.
Stones and bones. But you see in his lair, roll me a perception check.
17.
You see a large hole in the middle of what looks like what would be the middle of his lair.
Like, that's it, just a hole? Like a pit, or like a deep...
Like a deep, deep hole, like a tunnel, but like a really large tunnel. And
Is it going, like, straight down, or...
It seems to go straight down, and now that you're in here, you start to feel the ground sort of shaking a little.
Does Jorge speak common? I forgot about this.
Jorge does speak common.
Oh, dude, thank God. I was about to say, thank God. What if I can't speak to Jorge?
Not a whole lot. But he speaks some common.
Alright. I'm gonna thank Jorge for getting Oscar and I out of that situation.
He says, "No problemo. Looks like someone's moved into my home."
What do you mean, Jorge? Is that what that hole is?
Well, that hole didn't used to be there.
I don't know how far away I am. I'm gonna walk up and kind of just carefully peer over the edge.
All right, roll for initiative.
Ah, damn it.
Your head gets ripped off.
That's shitty. That's 12.
Well, it's okay you're going to still get initiative on this thing, because a gargantuan purple worm has like purple plates of chitinous armor, so it's like a hard purple shell on this big giant worm with a gaping open mouth on the top. It's full of teeth, like rings of teeth. It's about the size of an ox. Its mouth is the size of like an ox. So it comes swooping out of the hole, trying to bite at you, but you get first attack.
Are these the Beetlejuice sandworms?
Close.
Kind of like the ones from Dune.
Yeah.
That big. That's not good. Alright, but it's like right in front of my face, right?
Correct. It just came up out of the hole trying to bite at you, but it missed, and you get first swing. Yep.
Well, you know what Morgan's gonna do?
It's about 20 feet
Shoot the
20 feet
gun.
around.
She's gonna pew 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 it. Pew pew pew.
All right. Roll it.
Alright, right in front of my face. I'm gonna go, just in case, I'm gonna go against touch AC.
All right. Good
Should
move.
I take a full round, or is this just a one shot only since it's like a surprise round?
You have a full round right now.
Okay, I'm taking a full round. I'm gonna go against touch AC, not fuck shit up. That's gonna be 21. Oh wait, no. 21.
21's actually a hit for touch AC. You're very lucky. It has very high AC normally, but its touch AC is very low, so you're very lucky in this particular instance.
Two more coming in. Natural 20.
All right.
And then one more. 12. That's gonna be a miss.
That's actually also a hit.
Oh. Alright.
The disparity between its touch AC and its regular AC is super huge. There's like a 22-point difference between its regular AC and its touch AC. So you're very lucky you're using firearms in this instance.
Okay, so you got two regular and then
A double, or whatever, the quad, whatever it is.
Alright, so let's do the two regulars first,
Okay.
because that's easier to count. That's gonna be 17 on the first.
Okay.
That's gonna be 20 on the second.
Okay.
And then my crits times 4, so...
Yep. Just roll it 4 times.
And do I add my bonus to that each time?
Yep.
And every time?
Yeah, every shot is the... Well, you get the bonus for dex, right? Because you took that feat?
Yeah, I get
Yep,
bonus
adds to
for-
every one of them.
Nice.
Just like a strength hit would. So it'd be 17 plus something, a 20 plus something, and then these 4 numbers plus that something one time, not every 4
So
times.
we're at 17, 20... I'll help you. Alright, 17 and 20, so we're already at 37. 4 more. 11 plus 9, that's another 20.
Okay.
7. Plus 15.
Okay.
Plus 16.
Okay.
Plus 21.
All right.
That's like close to 100. That's a lot of damage.
That's 119 damage.
Holy fucking shit. I'm gonna get knocked unconscious right this second. Does Emmanuel or whatever his name get to go next?
Who?
Just have any healing spells?
Emmanuel.
Hornet doesn't have any healing spells.
I was also not expecting to do that much damage, but I couldn't do anything else. I guess I could have run away. Yeah. But that's Morgan doesn't run away.
It's true.
She goes poo poo poo.
Yeah, he doesn't have any way to heal you or anything. It can shoot fire at it and help you, but that'd be pretty much all it would do.
Fire breath, fire breath.
Want some fire breath on there?
Yeah. Roast that freaking worm.
I mean, it's only chicken. It's like what's on the outside of a crab.
All right.
You can break that with your fist.
All right, that does a 10 more damage.
You said Jorge's only like bear size, right? Pretty small.
Yeah, he's not huge for a dragon.
You know, he barely could carry two.
Yeah, he's not huge. He's not like the biggest dragon I've ever seen. He's a small underground burrowing dragon.
Okay. And Morgan gets killed.
And now it's this purple worm's turn. So let's see what happens. I roll a 35 versus your AC.
That'll do it. Yeah, I think that would.
Welcome to the Ramses realm of death.
4, 11, 14, 17 plus 12 is 29.
Fucking hell.
And then I need to know your CMD.
What'd you say? How much damage?
I think I said 29.
Yep. Can I imagine that I may have rested on my dragon map ride, or no?
No, because it was a pretty swift ride. I don't know how you would have slept holding onto a dragon without falling off. I need to know your CMD.
Do you? Because I'm unconscious.
Oh, well then you're in this thing's mouth and it's swallowing you whole.
Ah. Yeah, no.
You've been swallowed whole by a purple worm that dives back down into the hole. You're now unconscious in its belly. Luckily for you, this thing digests mostly rocks and stones and dirt, and so it doesn't digest human flesh very well, but you are in its belly. Unconscious, but alive. You can roll me a Constitution save.
I used my hero point to save time. Why did I do that last game? Foolish move.
Would Oz do the same for you?
Anyone ever again. Constitution save. This is gonna suck a fat one. Oh, 13.
Yeah, so you're not great. You're unconscious inside the belly of this worm. And we'll leave you there, because there's not a whole lot you can do unconscious inside the belly of the worm. Alright, back to Vortiga.
Nice. Yeah, I'm down to try and go to Kinswahili.
Yep.
Can I travel by horse?
You can travel by horse. I'll say the other option would be traveling by land and trying to go over some of the mountains, or trying to go through the road past the wall, or whatever. But those are your by land is probably your best option at this point, yeah. Especially if you have horse.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll summon a horse.
All right, you summon a horse.
Yep, and my imp can float with me, right? Because it flies.
I mean, it's pretty small. You can carry it. I mean, you can ride your back. It's pretty. You can carry it around, ride it like a little pet. It can ride your back and stuff. It can hold on to you while you ride the horse. It doesn't need a separate horse. It doesn't need a separate horse of its own or anything.
No, I haven't do that.
All right, so he holds onto your back while you ride the horse.
Yeah.
All right, you leave Hellport. I assume riding east.
Yes.
Past the city of Foe, towards the mountains.
Yep.
All right, so you reach the mountains. You can either head north towards the road, past Covenston, or you can head through the mountains, past the Manitos tribes and a lot of the other mountain monsters and such. You know, these mountains are have other goblin and hobgoblin tribes in them, as well as a lot of other monsters and stuff. As a matter of fact, some of the hobgoblins in these mountains are hobgoblins that your family was at war with in the south.
Okay. Well, I might try to stop through. Like, would they recognize me because of my skin color or something, that I'm from the tribe that they're at war with?
They might recognize something racially about you that would make them know that you're from a different hobgoblin tribe. Yes, it's very possible. But you'd have to walk into their camps for that to happen, so you would know that you could just try to avoid their camps going through there, but if you stumble upon a raiding party or a hunting party, you might be in trouble.
Yeah. I was thinking about if I could go blow up some shit at their camp or something.
You could. Let's just know it's a whole tribe of hobgoblins versus just you, but you could try to get away with it if you want.
No, I know, it'd be pretty tough.
It's great Rovagug stuff. I mean, that's great for your deity. Blowing shit up is, exactly what your god would want, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, my god would love it, but I've got to keep it within the realm of,
You're at work, too, so, yeah.
Yeah. So,
you don't want to get too sidetracked.
Yeah, I'll try to go through that and kind of stay to myself a little bit.
So you're going to try and ride through the mountains and not be detected by any hobgoblins or goblins?
Yeah.
Alright, so roll me 3 stealth checks in the mountains, and I'll roll 3% chances.
Okay. I got an 18 plus 5.
Alright, so when you first enter the mountains, you are spotted, but it's not by another group of hobgoblins, it's by a wild beast.
Okay, perception check. My imp has a +7, so can I use his?
You can. You could say, like, see what's ahead, or something like that, to your imp.
Yeah, Neville, I'll say Neville, is it dark?
It's dim out. It's early evening.
Okay. Well, I'll tell Neville to scout ahead and see what's ahead. He has 60 feet of dark vision.
All right.
And he's got a +7 to perception, so I'll do a perception check with him.
He
I don't want
says,
to stray too far ahead, just a little bit, because he can fly, so I kind of want him to float over and see if he can see from a better vantage point than I can.
So it flies a little bit ahead and comes back and says, meat!
Let me see if I have a language familiar with him that I can go with.
Like it just knows infernal and common.
Okay.
But in common he says meat.
Well, I speak infernal.
You can try infernal and see if you get a better translation that way.
Yeah, I'll speak infernal to him and say, what's ahead?
He says, meat.
Meat?
Meat.
Food, yes. What food?
Aurum Vorax.
Oh, Aurum Vorax. Can I do a knowledge?
Nature?
Yeah, I like to do nature. Yeah, I think that'd be the best one. This isn't a plains monster or anything, right?
No.
That's gonna be a 17.
Alright, you've heard of an Aurum Vorax before. It's a pretty small beast, like dog size, but they're very powerful, they're very strong. Small animals, and they have like golden fur, so sometimes their pelts are worth a decent amount of money. And they have 8 legs. So the legs are really good for eating.
Okay. Yeah, I'll,
They are known to be very ferocious though, so. But apparently they usually travel in either alone or in pairs. So you're not going to be facing a lot of them.
Let me ask Neville, 1 or 2.
He says there were 2.
Yes. Can stealth around them? Kind of avoid them?
Yeah, you can try. Roll me a stealth and I'll roll a perception.
Yeah, might as well.
Alright, roll it for me.
That's an 18 plus 5.
Alright, I got a 27 though, so it's a little bit higher than that. So they sense you by scent actually, and when you try sneaking around them, they actually grow closer to you.
Okay. So they've got me by scent. I mean, nature wouldn't tell me like if I could distract them with another thing to throw them off. Like,
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You would know that there are predators that are very fond of fresh meat, and they're very fond of gnawing on metal, especially gold and copper. You've encountered something like these in the northern mountains as well. But you would know that sometimes people would just like toss down handfuls of coins and run away when they would attack. Or
I was going to suggest that very same action.
yeah. So it's usually enough to distract them long enough for you to get away.
I know, but
Or you can set the imp on them bitches.
well, that's what I'm saying. But they're pretty ferocious, and it's 2 of them.
There's 2 of you.
Yeah, one-on-one. One-on-one on one-on-one.
Yeah,
The imp's pretty much a throwaway anyway. I mean, it's gonna go sooner or later. You're not gonna keep this thing for damn ever, are you?
I don't know. It's a pretty cool thing. I can do it to do a lot more sneaky stuff than just overtly attacking with it.
What can it do? It can go invisible. It can turn
To an animal, it can spy on people. It can turn to an animal and then come back and report to him. So I mean, that's pretty good for spying and things like that.
Oh, yeah. It is augury.
Augury?
So he could come in handy if you keep him alive long enough, but
Like, what? How much gold in these situations?
it's hard to say. It's got to be enough to make them not want the fresh meat. So it usually depends how hungry they are, because they don't usually eat the gold. At least people don't think they do. They think they just use it to like sharpen their teeth or something. They're drawn to it. So it varies from creature to creature and how hungry they are. So I'll basically just roll a percentage chance to see if it works or not. Well, the percentage chance will be higher the more gold you throw down. So it's more likely to work the more gold you throw, basically.
Well, I'm gonna throw down 50 gold.
All right. You throw down 50 gold. That's enough to distract at least one of them.
Alright, I try to ride my horse and escape away if I can.
All right, you ride your horse at full speed. You're able to get away if you ride away at full speed, especially with one of them distracted. These two seem to be mates, and so the one's not likely to go far away from the other one.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
if you do that, you escape. You just throw down 100 gold on the ground. and right on through the mountains. You're able to make it over the rest of the mountains, and you're reaching the crest of where the West Linya Mountains become East Linya Mountains. You can kind of see in the middle of the mountains there, when you're riding your horse over all these mountains and valleys and stuff, and you reach what's near East Linya, you don't see a wall. But then as soon as you cross the mountains through a valley that you're just familiar with from being a hobgoblin, usually these mountains are very hard to traverse, but luckily for you, you're very familiar with these ranges and stuff, so you're able to find a good valley to cut through. When you reach East Linya, it seems like a wall all of a sudden appears. So you didn't see a wall in West Linya, but now that you're in East Linya, you do see a wall blocking East and West Linya. And you've now crossed over from West to East Linya.
Right, so now I'm officially crossed over, and I see the wall of the...
You see the wall behind you, leading it heads towards West Linya.
Okay.
And you come down out of the mountains. You're kind of near a road. You see a tall tower in the distance. And you hear what sounds like someone yelling through like a megaphone, one of those old school megaphones, not the ones that are electrically powered, but like the ones cheerleaders used to have, and I'm talking about, like a big cone, basically. Yeah. You're like what sounds like a guard or someone yelling at you, "Halt, who goes there?"
Just a traveler on my way through to the coast.
They say you came from the direction of West Linya. What's your business on East Linya?
To go to Kiswahili and try and get passage to Demon's Knot.
All right. They say, are you alone?
It's just me and my, when they say that, I ask my imp, Neville, in Infernal, to go invisible.
All right. He does?
And I say, yes, it is just I.
All right. They say, all right, traveler, safe travels in East Linya. We were just watching the wall, and we don't get a whole lot of travelers from West Linya, so be careful. There's a lot of evildoers in West Linya, so be careful if you're traveling from there. And they hope you enjoy your stay in East Linya.
All right, thank you very much. I will try to be as quick as I can to get to my destination.
All right, safe travels. All right, so you head past the towers south?
Yes.
All right, you head south through the woods, past the Dort mining outpost, towards Timgad, Mosca, and Kiswahili.
Yep.
Roll percentage chances while you're traveling through here. Although East Linya from you grew up in West Linya, which is a much less tame place, so even over here, the wildlife that you encounter, which you just now encountered some, it's going to be like antelope and deer and stuff, so it's nothing you have to worry about unless you just want to hunt it. And they kind of maintain their distance, especially from you, a big hobgoblin.
Yes.
All right, so you finally reach the town of Kiswahili on your mount.
And I will do a perception of the town and what it looks like to see if I can see any fire people.
All right, from the outside of the town, you can't see any, but there are 4 entrances to the city, each one clearly marked with symbols. And the symbols are very easily recognizable as earth, air, fire, and water.
Okay.
And they're even color-coded. So. They're white, black, red, and blue.
Well, I will go to the red one and go through all of them.
All right, you go to the red door. They say that if you want to enter, you must register first. You can register as any party, but you have to register as at least one. Earth, air, water, or fire.
I choose heart. I'm here to see. I'm not really interested in that as much. I'm specifically here to see Holmes.
They say, well, as that as it may be, he's in the firehouse, so you'll need to register with the fire party to get inside.
What's the registration involved?
It just declares your allegiance to a certain political party. And then what basically all it does is we give you a patch to wear on your armor or clothing, which signifies which part of the city you're allowed to enter. Whatever house or district you register for, that's the one you usually hang out in. So most parties stick with their own kind. So the firehouse kind of hangs out with people in the firehouse, et cetera, et cetera. So venturing outside of your house or district is frowned upon, except there's one place in the middle of the city called the Elemental Circle, which is a shared space with a small market, but it's also the center of debate. It has an arena. But it's only a gathering place where no one house has an obvious advantage, whereas in the different districts, if you go in the Earth District, Air District, Fire District, or Water District, those districts, whoever runs that district has obvious power there.
Okay.
So the Paramelemental circle is where they settle the arguments. And the way their system works is 3 out of the 4 elements must agree to open any planar portal, which is what a lot of the arguments are about. So that's a lot of what they do since they study the 4 elements. It usually takes 3 out of 4 of the houses to agree to open a portal to any one of those 4 elemental planes. And whenever they do open the portals, though, sometimes you can go in or something can come out, depending. They never know. That's why it's always a risk and they have to vote on it. Portals only last 1 day, and they open it whichever appropriate temple for each house, whenever voted upon by all 3 parties. But they also argue about other shit, too, just normal politics and stuff of the town.
Okay, well, like, is this patch permanent, or, like, is it something I can take on and off? Like,
I mean, it's just a patch, so I mean, you could take it on and off, but you have to be wearing it to be inside the
when I'm
city.
in,
Yeah, while you're in the city, you have to be wearing at least 1 pouch. If you're wearing more than 1 pouch, it would be suspicious.
Alright,
You have to be you put on your fire patch?
yeah, I'll put on the fire patch to get in so I can talk the whole.
Alright, they show you to the firehouse entrance, the red entrance, which you're allowed to enter now that you have a red patch on. When you go through the entrance, someone checks your patch and make sure you're cool. They nudge you through, though, because you have the patch and you've been registered as a member of the fire party. So you enter the firehouse, which is the city's like blocked off into 4 quadrants. This quadrant, it seems, whatever few buildings there are wood, and the wood seems to either be painted black, or burned, or painted red. A lot of the buildings look like they're teepees, like teepee-like buildings with openings at the top, smoke billowing out.
Yeah.
Seems like there's fires constantly lit almost everywhere. Even though it's not that late yet, there's just fires lit. And you could assume they probably spend a lot of time tending the fires. Seems like they have like someone going around like maintaining, like constantly lighting the fires. They have a guy with an umbrella that covers the fires in the rain. But yeah, they worship the cleansing flame. They're very religious zealots. You see right now the temple's probably the largest part of this district. Fire temple. They have an alchemist, a fire arena, an ash winery, houses, a place called the Red Roof Inn. There's a very, what they call the Great Fire in the center of the district, a very large fire. Hot Deals Market, where they have hot deals. A smithy, a glass blower, and then there's a tavern called Flamers.
Alright, well, I am going to do a knowledge religion to see what god they're worshipping.
Okay.
Ah, shit. That's not going to be enough. That's only a 5.
Yeah, you don't know a whole lot. It seems that they're not even worshiping God. They're worshiping fire. They worship the eternal flame. There is they do have a large stick humanoid statue in the middle of the temple, kind of right next to the Great Fire. And so there are some people like adding sticks to the statue right now.
Oh, like the Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Are there people in it?
Inside the Wicker Man?
Yeah.
No, there doesn't seem to be any live people or anything inside of it. It seems people are adding sticks to it. If you were to ask them, they would say that when you add a stick to the stick man, you're asking forgiveness for something. And at the end of the week, they burn the stick man to ask for forgiveness for whatever they've done wrong.
Well, I'm going to go to the Flamers Tavern and try and ask around and see where Holmes is.
All right, so you go to Flamers, and it's less like a tavern than it is more like a restaurant that serves wine. They don't have a lot of the other stuff most taverns would have. They seem to exclusively serve ash wine, which they brew there, or they, vent there. It's very hot in this tavern. I mean, you're from Nevercrooks, so you're kind of used to it being hot, but it's pretty hot in here. But they do have a lot of fires everywhere, so it's just probably hot. But they have a full food item menu.
Okay.
But it seems like they have the word burnt in front of everything. Seems like all their food is served burnt.
So a lot of blackened.
It's all well done.
Yeah, you can get any meat you want, any vegetable you want, like burnt to a crisp, and ash wine here. That's about it.
So there's a bartender there, right?
No, it's more like a restaurant, so it's more like table service than like a bar service like you guys are kind of used to in a lot of other towns you go to.
Okay. Well, I'll sit down at a table and wait for the waiter to come, or waitress, or whomever, and ask them.
All right. A red-headed waitress comes up and brings you a menu that lists all the burnt food items and the ash wine, which they have in several different years. Variety you can choose from.
All right.
The older stuff being more expensive, of course, but.
Well, I'll get I guess a burnt steak and some wine.
All right, you get a burnt steak and some ash wine. That meal will cost 7 gold.
All right.
When you drink the ash wine, you get a +1 charisma for an hour, and a -1 wisdom for an hour.
Oh shit.
It kind of tastes like burnt wood.
Okay. Well, when my waiter comes back, I'm gonna ask him what I'm new to town, and I was here to see an old friend Holmes.
All right, she says, "Oh, Holmes." She says, "Well, he's the leader of the firehouse. He shouldn't be hard to find. Have you tried the Great Fire?"
I'm not. I will definitely go look there first.
All right. So you finish your meal?
Yep.
All right.
Of course, leave a tip, 2 gold.
Very appreciated.
Well, a 7 gold thing. And I'm going to go to the Great Fire.
All right, you go to the Great Fire. There's a large crowd, but there is an obvious elf leader that seems to be in charge. That seems to be leading this fire chant they're all doing. They're all seem to be like singing with the fire and swaying with the fire, and just like dancing with this large flame. There's definitely one elf that seems to be in charge of leading the whole thing. That's up on like a soapbox.
What language are they speaking? Is it Infernal?
Yep, he is speaking Infernal. Correct.
Alright, well, I speak Infernal, so I will listen to what he's saying.
Alright, he's saying a whole lot of stuff about the cleansing flame. It seems like he was raised in the Church of Fire, and he's a big believer of the cleansing flame, and sacrificing your body to the flame. And he's even encouraging members of the church to, submit their bodies to the flame. So you see several followers, running through the Great Fire and coming out the other end with just minor burns and stuff. And that's like a test of faith, is to run through the fire to prove, you believe in the cleansing fire, and you come out baptized in fire, basically.
I'll join them, because I have damage resistance, but I think I have the
Because of your boots. Yeah, you got the boots. You can run through the fire really quick.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, you run through the fire. You take no damage with those boots on. So yeah, you're fine. You run through the fire. The crowd cheers. The crowd cheers as you've run through the fire. You're now a full member of the church. You've been baptized. You're wearing the patch. You're a full member of their society now. The crowd's all cheering. Holmes notices you run through the fire, and he walks up to you, and he prays. Praises this brave hobgoblin. Obviously new to our faith, charging straight through the fire. And more of the followers should be as eager as this hobgoblin is to charge to the fire, since you did it without hesitation. So he's praising your name already. And the fire dies down some. It still kept going, of course, so they never let the fire die. But the service seems to be over after a while of a couple more people doing this. You'll notice this elf has orangish skin, very fiery eyes, very dark hair for an elf, very loud voice, very excitable. Passionate, but obviously blinded by his religion. Telling people to run through a fire and stuff's kind of crazy. But he's super into it.
Alright, I go introduce myself.
Alright, he says, "Oh, Vortiga, you must be my representative from the HPI." He says, "I thought we were getting Roche."
No, something that came up with Roche, so I am...
That's a shame. His accounting skills come highly recommended, but I guess you could probably handle this situation just as easily. It says, we've got a 4-party system here, which sometimes makes it complicated to get things done. He says, I'm trying to open the portal to the fire plane, and I'm getting a lot of resistance from the other house leaders. Oh, fire's dangerous. Oh, what if something burns down? All the normal. They're always worried about fire. They give us way more crap than they give anyone else. We're so dangerous. He says, so what I need you to do is infiltrate one of these other houses and sway the vote so that we can open a fire portal. Or, take out and replace one of their leaders and find someone that will vote in my favor, basically.
Okay.
I just need you to swing one of the other 2 houses my way. If you could swing 2 of them, that'd be even better, because I need a 3/4 majority vote. But if you can get one of them, I think I could probably convince the other.
I can definitely do that.
He says Waterhouse is usually the hardest one to convince. He says that's my biggest problem is Waterhouse. Airhouse, I can get them to agree with me. So if it's Earth or Water would be the 2 that, if you could focus your energy on one of them, that'd be the biggest help. Or both of them. More than air.
Do they have any grievances against each other?
He says, well, all of our parties kind of do. He says, everyone likes to think that their party's the best. It's a 4-party system. We're all kind of divided that way. So you're definitely going to find no one in that party that thinks fire is okay, and no one in this party that thinks, water is okay. Or, just like American politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
All right. Do you have any patches of the other parties that I can use for infiltration purposes?
It says patches are only given out in registration, and if you've registered for one party, they won't let you register your name for another party.
That's what I was afraid of. Have there ever been anybody that has infiltrated these other parties?
He says, we've tried before. We had some members from the Mafia try to do it, but he says, so far we've had very little luck. They tend to be very staunch and pig-headed about their beliefs. So a lot of times it's hard to convince them to, go against their own best interests. And instead of opening a portal to their plane, open one to someone else's. That's why the portals to planes only get opened every 50 to 100 years, because it's hard to get an agreement amongst such a large group of people on which plane to open.
So what was the last portal open, if you don't mind me asking?
He said air portal was the last time it was opened 50 years ago.
Well, I'm going to try. I'll assure that I'll get some resolution within the next week or so, or the next few weeks or so, and I'll try to infiltrate and resolve it through coercion to get them into going with your side. But if it does take a power change, I will
facilitate that as well.
Yeah, I'll do whatever I have to do to make it happen.
So it'll be a great excuse to use your imp too. He'll be good at a lot of this, because you're doing a lot of espionage shit right now. So
yeah,
that'll be
and
handy.
He can fly and stuff, so he can go over the wall. Or
yeah,
whatever.
he can go from house to house undetected. So
yeah,
smart.
So I'm gonna work on some stuff.
All right, you plan that, and we'll leave you there.
All right,
and we'll go back to Cersei.
Sweet.
Fully rested above her pit.
Can I grasp my stone and call Jorge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So during my 8 hours of rest, hopefully he'll be.
You call Jorge.
If he feels like it.
Yeah, it's gonna take him a while because he's traveling through tunnels and stuff. He doesn't teleport like Terry. So let's see how long it'll take him. He'll be there in about 6 minutes, so not a whole lot of time. So you call him on the stone, and about 6 minutes later, he arrives and says, "Oh my gosh, your friend got eaten by a worm."
I fucking hate worms, Jorge. What's going on? You got worms in your house?
My house got worms, man.
Dude, we gotta deworm that shit.
We gotta deworm my house. Got a worm problem.
Dude, let's deworm this shit. All I need from you is I need you to pick up this passed out kitsune. Let's
okay.
Just, you can tie her to if you want, or you can pick her up in your nice soft jaws, hopefully ever so tenderly.
Yeah, I got claws too. I can hold her in my talons and just try not to scratch her up or anything.
Yeah, and do you mind if I just hop on your back and we can cruise through?
Yeah. Do you want me to carry that big book?
Yeah, that would be ideal as well.
All right, I think I have enough paw space for that. So he'll carry you and the kitsune and the big book, and take you guys down through the tunnel, weaving around his maze, back through to the back of the the caverns to his lair, to the deepest recesses of the caverns to Jorge's lair, where
I'm
you
gonna
see.
roll perception. I don't really have much in the way of that, but I'll see what I can do. That's a wisdom.
Yep.
Ugh. That's only an 11.
Yeah. You don't see a whole lot except a big hole in the floor.
All right. Can I assume that Jorge was telling me like what happened?
Yeah, he will tell you the story of what happened. He says, we came back to my hole, and then a big worm came out. Morgan shot it, injured it pretty bad.
Yeah.
But then it swallowed her whole and went back underground.
All right. Well, can I pick up a stone? It's a cavern. There should be just
there's rocks lying around, debris. Yeah,
bones.
There's bones and stones.
I want to throw one into the hole.
All right, you throw it in the hole and listen to it fall. It goes pretty far down, probably over 100 feet straight down.
Okay. That doesn't elicit any response.
You do, whenever it hits the bottom, you do hear a rumbling farther away.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my cantrips and cast Dancing Lights, which pops up 3 orbs of light.
Yep.
And I can send them
around.
I'm just going to send them into, I'm going to be in the south side, essentially, of the hole. I want east, west, and north covered. I want lights, one
on
light
each side. All right, you do that.
See if I can. I'm going to try to tempt this motherfucking worm out.
All right, let's see if he comes to your because does have tremor sense, and he threw that rock down there. Let's see if that's enough to attract him. Yeah, you hear it going closer, but then you hear it kind of slow down and slow rumble as it gets near.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I suppose. Rats. I will. I'll take a D4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Cut up, slice my hand, get a little blood out there. See if that is enough to entice this guy out.
All right.
I mean, the way I don't know how Pat got him to come out earlier, so I got to figure something out.
That's true, man.
I'll take 2 damage.
All right. The blood doesn't seem to attract it any. You sense that whenever you drop that rock, that had a bigger effect than what you're doing now.
All right.
But maybe it just wasn't enough.
How about this?
All right.
Instead, I would like to find a rather medium to large size boulder.
Okay.
Levitate that bitch and drop it down the hole.
All right. You do that. There's plenty of rocks around here. You find a pretty large one, and you drop it down the hole, and it rolls straight down. You hear it rolling, and you hear it make a thud noise. I'll even let the guy take a little damage from that.
Please do.
So yeah. All right, so he takes a little damage from that, and then he comes. You hear him rumbling, coming back up through the hole. And now we need to roll for initiative.
All right. Sounds good.
I got a 15.
15. What's the modifier initiative?
Dex.
Dex? Alright. Natural 1.
All right, so the worms gets first attack. He comes charging up out at you. What's your AC?
Like 11, 12? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be a 23. So that will be a hit. So that does 4d8s plus something. Where's my d8? Here it is. 6, 14, 20, 26 plus 12. It's 38 damage. And then I need to know your CMD.
My CMD?
Yep.
Alright. I think I'm at 15 on CMD.
All right, so yeah, after it does that damage, it also grabs you in its jaw, so it's got you in its teeth right now, in its mouth.
All right. Well, what I want to do right now is I'm going to summon the power from my Throthraka amulet and cast Fireball.
All right.
And also, as a quick action, twist my burnt bone ring.
And then do that
Which
flaming
has
thing.
annihilation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw out a Fireball with a 46. He gets a reflex save for half.
All right. I rolled an 18 plus something.
That's going to be a half.
Okay, he'll take half of whatever you roll.
And then the bone ring, I would assume, is probably going to be the same save. Even though I'm like in its fucking mouth, I don't know how it can reflex out of this. Yeah, once per day, spin ring, 10d6 fire damage, explosion, 30 foot range.
And that one I got a reflex 13.
That's not gonna do it.
So yeah, so he'll take full damage on that and half damage on the first.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll the 4d6 for the fireball.
Uh-huh.
That's not too pretty. That's 10
Alright.
from the fireball, and then 10d6. Oh, that's better. Alright. That's 12. These are not like 18, 20, 22, 27, 33, so I guess 43 damage total.
Okay, 43. It reels back in pain as you burn its mouth and spits you back out. So you're back on the ground outside the hole. And it's kind of whipping its head around, and it goes in for another attack. Which is a... Where's my BAB? That's going to be a 22 versus your AC.
That'll do it.
It's going to bite you again.
I'm gonna die. I'm not. I'm dead. I'm dead. That's it. Unless you let me,
It's 25 damage unless you got something. I'll even say that Jorge breathed some fire on this thing.
Yeah. You should be helping a brother out.
Yeah, I did one round of that. So it's pretty weak at this point. You can tell it's pretty weak.
Alright.
But if you don't do anything, it's going to have you in its jaws again and do 25 damage, so...
Yeah. I'm trying to see what I can do. Give me 1 second, see if I can get another quick action off. Hero or anti-hero? Can I chug a fly potion and, back up out of its reach?
Roll me a reflex save and drink your fly potion and I'll allow it.
Alright.
As long as the reflex save is good enough.
Oh god, I'm like -10.
Pat's wisdom's dropping fast.
I also want to be holding on to my luck stone that gives me +1 to my skill rolls.
That's fine.
It's gonna be 18.
Alright, so I will let you really swiftly drink that potion and take minimal damage. So what I'll do, I'll re-roll that damage and you'll take less. So instead, you'll just take 14 damage.
That still kills me.
Alright, so you fly away, and it still reaches out and knocks you unconscious to the ground. It doesn't have you in its mouth, though. It's not swallowing you. You're just on the ground, unconscious. Alright, Jorge's going to breathe fire again.
Yep, and I'm -4 hit points.
Yep. Roll me a Constitution save to not continue bleeding out or whatever, but...
Alright. Still got my luck stone in my hand.
Alright, yeah, clutching it.
That's a 17 plus 3, so 21.
That's enough to stabilize. So you're unconscious, but you're stable. You'll stay at that exact amount that you're at right now until someone heals you.
I tried so hard to suicide bomb that fucking worm.
You did. It almost worked. You guys, he has 3 hit points left.
Yeah. God damn it.
It's like almost dead. Although, Pat's gun did 119 of that damage, but...
Well, I did the rest, too.
You did the rest, yeah. I'm just saying, that's a fucking big-ass monster, and you guys... I'm just saying, the two of you almost killed that huge-ass monster by yourselves without help from anybody. That's pretty dope.
Can Jorge just, go down there and finish that motherfucker off?
You know what? I'm gonna allow it. I'm gonna roll a d6. If I roll higher than a 3 on this d6, we'll say that Jorge chased after it and killed it.
Alright.
3. So it works. He kills the worm. You guys get experience points, but you are both unconscious, and the worm is still down in the pit.
Tom can just open up the belly and get you out.
Oh, yeah.
You guys get 9,600 experience points each.
I think I just leveled up, dude.
I think that's the most.
I am still not even close. You said 9,600?
9,600, yep.
Hell to the fucking yeah.
But you are both unconscious. One of you is in the belly of this dead worm, which is now down in this hole, about 150 feet.
When I wake up, I'm gonna loot so hard.
Yeah. And Cersei's unconscious on top of the hole, but this worm has been slayed by Jorge.
Thanks, Jorge.
You're welcome.
Jorge's my new best buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to name him, so he should be.
Yeah. And now you guys are in his house, pretty much.
Yeah, I got 78 now. I leveled up.
Alright, you get a new ability score, too, at level 8.
Sweet.
You can add 1 point to any ability score. And then all of your other normal leveling up crap.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not like in Final Fantasy when you level up.
You just automatically get
your
the...
hit points automatically go back to the everything goes.
You know what? For this instance, I'll let it happen. When you guys level up, whatever hit points you got for your level up will wake you up. How about that? I'll allow it. I'll allow it. So yeah, Cersei, after the worm gets killed by Jorge, suddenly just darts up. Almost dead. I'm sure you only have a couple of hit points after that, but...
I'm rolling, my hit die plus my constitution modifier?
Yep. Whatever's in there, I'm fine. I'll drink anything.
Alright, I got 9 back, so I have 5 hit points.
Alright, so you are awake. Just barely. You pull yourself over the edge of the hole.
Go, bud. Fucking crushed it.
No problem.
How about a little help retrieving my friend down here in this deep hole? I'll cast, I'll use my second level 2 spell for the day, and I'll cast Levitate on myself so that I can slowly go down there with you.
Uh-huh.
And I know you're a dragon, so you're gonna want a little bit of a hoard. You know, dragons like treasure, right?
Oh, I don't really care so much about treasure.
Alright, fine. Well, then we'll just take all the treasure. You help us haul it all out, and you know what? I'll give you your stone, and I'll never bother you again.
Oh, I'd really like that. I would just like to live in peace and build holes underground. I just really like
Sounds
building
great.
holes.
I'll even cast Gentle Repose on you.
Oh, I'd really appreciate that. I'm sure I'll last a little bit longer if you help. I'll help you drag this body out of this worm. So he helps pull the worm up to the edge of the pit. So most of the body of the worm is still down the pit, but he's got its mouth hanging over the edge. And you can now crawl inside and retrieve your friend and whatever gems and stuff you want out of there.
Yep. I want to take 20 on that.
Alright, so you're able to pull out Morgan up the slimy belly, past its teeth.
Like a hex heal? Wait for it. Yeah, now that you're out, I'm going to hex heal and you can come help.
Alright. And then 2 of you will loot the body of this worm.
Pockets folded. You get 11 hit points back. Ooh, that is barely enough.
And I want you guys to roll me 2d20.
Alright.
And then multiply that by 100.
Alright. Oh, shit. Oh, that's 30 times 100? So 3,000?
That's how much gold value worth of gems you're able to retrieve.
Fucking just Will? Do I get to roll?
You get to roll twice also, yep. I'll let you both retrieve it. Alright, you get each are just doing your own gem hunting right now instead of splitting up crap.
17,
3,700.
3,700.
Gold worth of gems, raw uncut gems.
So, that worked out pretty well.
And Jorge says, you're welcome to rest in his home for the evening or whatever.
Get a ride out of here and I'll give you the gym in the morning. When we the outskirts.
He says, I can carry you out of here, but I can only carry like 2 of you.
Well, we should wait for our friends. Yeah, we'll rest here and make sure that you cave us.
Alright. So you rest, maybe help him cover up the hole or something, or whatever else.
Start shoveling dirt in that.
Alright. Make sure no more worms come in. Get rid of his worm problem.
Fucking worms.
So I guess we know who to call if you have a worm problem. A giant purple worm problem. What pesky monsters will our adventurers tackle next? And the next time to Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater. Find out.